He's been a good governor. And I think that, I'm a fan of governors. I think governors know what it means to run something. They understand how to deal with a crisis. They understand how to deal with a budget. There's a lot to be said about a governor. The only thing I'll say is that, watching him, like, he did a total 180 and switched on where he was on entitlements and is now where Trump is. He did a total 180 on where he is with Ukraine and is now where Trump is. So it just comes across like a Trump echo. Well, then there's no difference between the two of them.
I use the Solzhenitsyn quote on the show every day. All we have to do is stop participating in the lie. That's it. But it seems like everyone is lying all. I mean, that's basically all I do every morning. I'm like, all right, who lied today? Let's go through 20 people that just can't tell the truth. Will that, in a way, be the hardest part of running for president? That no matter what you say, and any of you guys on this side of the aisle, they're basically going to make it up, and you got to just keep slogging through that.
No, I mean, that's part of it. Politics is a blood sport. You don't get in if you can't, take the heat. Yes, they're going to cut things up. Yes, they're going to tell lies. Yes, they're going to say things. That's already happened. That's happened, throughout my political life. But my job is to just keep communicating what I believe, what my truth is. There's rumors out there about all kinds of things, like what I believe on this issue or that issue. I'll just, I'll clearly tell you what it is. And then people realize. I mean,
is there something that you think is like the biggest miscommunication about you, or something that you think?
No, I think most recently the funny thing is that that CNN did this article and said, oh, she wants to cut off, Social Security and Medicare. And the truth is, yes, we do have to do and that's what I said. I said, if you're going to be honest, yes, we claw back the 500. Yes, we go after the 100 fraud. Yes, we stop borrowing. Yes, we cut the spending. Yes, we cut the earmarks. But you have to talk about entitlement reform. Mm-hmm. And the way you talk about it is, we don't take from anybody that was promised. Don't touch seniors. Don't touch anyone that has put money in that has been promised. My parents are in their 80s. I don't want anybody taking from them, but my kids are in their 20s. Mm-hmm. And you go to them and you say the game has changed for you because they know they're not going to get it anyway. Let's start there. Start with everyone in their 20s coming into the system, and let's do a few things. One, let's raise their retirement age so that we actually are looking more at life expectancy. Let's go and change cost of living to relate more to inflation instead of just a cost of living. Let's go and let's make sure we expand Medicare Advantage plans so you have more competition and you run down costs. Those are the things that we could do that would really make a difference if we did that. Let's go and limit the benefits that go to the wealthy, because you can talk to people like Bernie Marcus, they'll tell you, I don't want it. But let's go ahead and limit that. So, these are truths that we have to acknowledge. Don't run from it because of what CNN says. Just go out there and educate on why you think what you think.
So I want to get into some of the people you'll be running against on the Republican side, but to quickly kind of do the Democrat thing. I mean, is it a bit of an odd thing that you kind of don't know who you're running against? Because to your point, it's like, Biden, is this real even? Like, what is going on there? I mean, what do you really make of what's happening with him and who's in charge and all that?
I mean, look, I think that, it's easy to know that Susan Rice is still in that White House and that the old Obama crew is still there. But Biden has done an amazing job at becoming much more progressive, than anybody ever thought he would be. I think you're looking at Biden and Kamala. That's who we're looking at. That's what you have to assume. If Biden isn't still there, Kamala's going to be the one in there. And I'm not okay with any of that.
Yeah. Be kind of fun to run against her. I feel like that would be at least a little more fun for you. Like the Biden thing, it's like, how do you make sense of what?
That's fun too, because you look at, when you've got such a low bar, mm-hmm. That's not a bad thing.
So, all right, so let's talk about some of the people that you'll be running against on the Republican side, because everyone, I think, is trying to jockey for, what separates us all on these things. So first off, you could be on a debate stage with your former boss. Mm-hmm. Do you relish in that? Do you, that seems to be where he shines. Like, what do you make of having to do that?
I shine on a debate stage too. It's just a fact. Yeah. We're both running. We're both going to be on a debate stage. He's my friend. But, at the end of the day, do we have different styles in different ways? Yeah, I think that's going to show.
What about the guy here in Florida? I live in Florida now. My life is immeasurably better, as you know, because of that. Like, to me, he's done basically everything right. We don't know if he's running. It sounds like there'll be a little bit of a foreign policy difference with you guys, according to the Tucker thing, for sure. But a lot of the other stuff kind of seems similar. What do you make of that? I saw your statement, actually. You just put out a statement that basically he's copying Trump on a lot of this stuff.
I mean, he's been a good governor. And I think that, I'm a fan of governors. I think governors know what it means to run something. They understand how to deal with a crisis. They understand how to deal with a budget. There's a lot to be said about a governor. The only thing I'll say is that, watching him, like, he did a total 180 and switched on where he was on entitlements and is now where Trump is. He did a total 180 on where he is with Ukraine and is now where Trump is. So it just comes across like a Trump echo. Well, then there's no difference between the two of them.
Could some of that just be being in office and how things change?
I'm not going to assume to know what he's thinking, why he's thinking it. I just think that it's odd that he is literally saying the exact same things as Trump. I mean, you see like the same things are coming out. And I think Americans, when they look at it, if that were the case, they just vote for Trump. They're not looking for an echo. They're looking for for options. But, he's got to decide where he's going to be on everything. I think you have to be honest with the American people and say, yes, you've got to acknowledge entitlement reforms, but there's a way to do it. I think you've got to be honest on, foreign policy. That, look, if you are going to be weak in the knees on Russia, you're going to end up with Russia being just like China. We've watched that happen. We had Republicans and Democrats that got weak in the knees on China and said, oh, just leave them. If we're nice to them, they'll want to be like us. That is why we are in this situation where they are stealing intellectual property. They're now in our universities. They're buying up our farmland. They're sending spy balloons up in the air. It all started with people saying, you don't need to worry about China. Let's just worry about us. Well, you start doing that with Russia, and now you're going to have China and Russia there.
So actually, instead of, with our remaining time, going through the laundry list of people that are running, I think those are the big two. So all right, your feelings are clear on that. I would just want to ask you sort of philosophically, I think one of the things that I'm seeing bubble up now constantly is that the people feel that the machine itself, that the way the United States was constructed cannot work at a federal level, that the states are so out of whack with each other, and that I fled California, that I truly see no hope for. After the last time I was in San Francisco, I mean, it barely looks like an American city. It looks like a third world country, basically.
Very sad.
And then I see how things are flourishing here, that there really is a feeling amongst a certain set of people on the right, like, actually, the united part of this thing is not going to work anymore, and that we should only focus on the states. What do you think about that?
I'm a states' rights girl. I think that, as a governor, I think that the majority of control should always be in the states. I mean, look, the federal government, it breaks more than it fixes. We see that every day. So, as president, my goal is going to be to empower the states as much as possible, whether it's healthcare, whether it's education, whether it's military, whether it's all of those things. It's best when it's closest to the people. That's when government runs the best. When you have these behemoth agencies that get so bloated and so big and then try and dictate to everybody what they should do, I think that's part of the problem. We've got to clean it out.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about politics instead of mindless drivel, check out our politics playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist, all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.